What's going on, guys? Bob Roche from RocheTechnology.com here with an unboxing for you of a very highly requested motherboard for my Hackintosh hardware series, and that is the Gigabyte Z77-DS3H. This right here is a great entry-level motherboard for your Hackintosh, for you first-time Hackintosh users, or for those of you looking to do a budget build, you want to have a low-risk, low-cost system. This right here is probably one of the best choices on the market. Now, before I go ahead and get started with the unboxing, I do want to make a note that I am still recovering from an illness. I've had the cold for the last couple days, and so that also kind of explains, the slowdown of videos lately between having, school and everything like that. I didn't want to record a bunch of voiceovers and stuff with, sounding congested. So I hope you guys can forgive me for that. I'm trying to push through it. I'm drinking my orange juice, eat my chicken noodle soup. But before I ramble anymore, I just wanted to let you guys know that, and let's go ahead and get started with the unboxing. So here we have the box of the Z77-DS3H from Gigabyte. As mentioned earlier, this is an introductory level board. This isn't going to be some supercomputer or anything like that, but if you're really looking to get into the Hackintosh world and you don't want to spend an arm and a leg on the system and you want a fully functioning system, this is going to be a fantastic choice for you. So let's go ahead and move around the box here. This runs on the LGA 1155 socket, which is probably the most popular socket at the moment. That runs your Sandy Bridge and your Ivy Bridge, Core i3, i5, and i7 processors, which, like I said, is probably the most common on the market now. Right here, Z77 chipset. That's probably the best chipset for OS X. This doesn't require a DSDT. It has native power management, all that good stuff. So really, there's no worries there. This really should be an out-of-the-box motherboard for a Hackintosh. Moving over here, ultra durable 4 classic. These are just some various features of the board, humidity protection, electrostatic protection, because let's face it, static electricity is death for these components, so it's good to know that Gigabyte has put some time and effort into, protecting from such things. As you can see right here, we have a new glass fabric PCB, so extra strength. That's something that Gigabyte boards are really well known for. They're very thick boards. If you push down on that memory, you're not really going to bend that motherboard. You're not going to hear that awesome silicone crack. So, and flipping around to the back of the box here, I'm not going to cover all this stuff in excruciating detail or anything because a lot of you guys probably don't really care. But down here, it just kind of goes into detail about that humidity protection and the electrostatic, power failure, all that different stuff down there. As you can see right here, this does indeed have a dual UEFI BIOS. So you say, for example, you're doing a BIOS upgrade, your power goes out, you now have a second BIOS chip that you can boot into and be on your way. So it's also very good for, BIOS upgrades. Like I said, if your power goes out, things like that. So you're covered there. So there's a picture of the motherboard, but like I said, I'm not going to go into all this stuff. If you want, more detail here, go ahead and pause the video right about now and you can read out your heart. But I'm not going to take time to do that because people don't want to read in a video. So in the box, we have the rear I/O, nothing crazy. There's no special coloring or anything. Like I said, this is a very, I don't want to say budget, but introductory level motherboard. So you're not going to get tons of bells and whistles and custom I/O panels, things like that. So there's that. We have the awesome instruction manuals that I've already read every single page of twice. Obviously I'm kidding. In the box you get 2 SATA cables as opposed to the 4 or the 6 in some of the higher end boards. As you can see right here, one of them is a 90-degree cable, which is really nice for the hard drives or like an optical drive or something, and one of them is also just the regular SATA connection. Peeking up out of the back here, we have a little Gigabyte sticker for your case if you want to go that route. And underneath this cardboard we have the board itself, so let's go ahead and get this guy out of here. Alright, so before removing the motherboard from the bag, I know I'm going to get some flack for this. I'm touching some metal legs on the desk right now to help avoid any static electricity or anything like that. Although this board does boast that electrostatic protection, so there's that. But of course you can never be too careful with electronic components, especially something like a motherboard. But here we have, the board itself. Standard ATX size, nothing crazy here, no extreme bells and whistles because as I've mentioned a couple times now, this is an introductory level board. This isn't going to have all the crazy features of the higher end motherboards, but this will have more than enough to get the average user by. So you can see right here we have 4 memory slots. This can hold a maximum of 32 gigabytes of triple channel memory. Here we have the CPU socket, once again, 1155, Sandy and Ivy Bridge, i3, i5, and i7s. So there you go. Up here, this is actually pretty nice. Some motherboards only have the 4. This is the processor power. This actually has the 2 that has the 2 4 pins. So 8-pin CPU power gets an extra power to that CPU in case you want to overclock or anything like that. Moving down here, we have 2 PCI Express, I believe these are 3.0 slots. I don't think they're 2.0. Here we have a PCI by 16, looks like a PCI 8, and then we have 2 PCI 1X slots and 2 legacy PCI, which on some of the higher end motherboards we're actually getting rid of these. But there's that. Here we have the little audio chip, and by the looks of it, it looks to be an ALC 897 chip, so that's fully supported in OS X. Just use multi-beast, and you should be good to go. Moving over here, we have the SATA ports. We have 2 SATA 3 and 3 SATA 2. 2, 3, 3, 2, kind of mixed up there. I would say reciprocal if you want to get into the math geeks things. Moving up here, we have a USB 3.0 header for the front panel of your case if your case supports the USB 3.0. In terms of fan headers, we have one right here, which is a 4-pin. Let's see here. There's ought to be one around the processor somewhere. That takes us down here. We actually have 2 additional ones right here, also 4-pin, and we have one more at the bottom right there. So pretty neat. Tons of different places where you can put case fans, things like that. Let's see, down here we have 2 USB headers for your case, all your power switches, your little battery here, and I guess now we'll have a look at the rear I/O. Here we have a PS2 port for keyboards and mice, 2 USB 2.0 ports. We have VGA, which will not work in OS X. We have DVI, and we have HDMI. These 2 should both work in OS X just fine right out of the box with those HD 4000 graphics. Here we have 2 USB 3.0, 2 more USB 2.0. We have standard Ethernet and as well the traditional audio outputs. So there you guys go. Like I said, pretty introductory level board, although very nice features for spending $100. It's really amazing how much stuff they're putting in these boards now. USB 3, PCI 3, 32 gigabytes of memory. Very nice price point for what should be a very nice motherboard for a lot of you Hackintosh folks. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention this. We also have mSATA, where if you want to go that route, instead of having a traditional SATA drive, you can actually just plug a little drive right into here and boot and install using that. So there you guys go. Be sure to stick around to my channel for the full overview and review of this board on my Hackintosh hardware series. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'm at CPU Kid on Twitter. Also be sure to check out RocheTechnology.com, and I hope to see you guys back here very soon.